Hello everyone and welcome to the tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to look at string methods and fstrings. String methods are built-in methods that allow you to manipulate strings. One thing to remember about string methods is that almost all string methods return new strings. They do not change the original string. Now we will not be looking at all the string methods as there are a lot of them. We'll only look at the most commonly used string methods. So the first method we'll look at is capitalize. But before that we'll need a string, so let's declare one. And to use the string methods we can just type the variable name or the string dot and the method name, so capitalize. And the capitalize method will capitalize the first letter in the string and lowercase the remaining letters. So it will capitalize H and then lowercase all the remaining letters. So it will also lowercase world. So let's run this. And you can see it capitalizes the first letter and then lowercase is the remaining string. So that is the capitalize method. And the next method we'll look at is lower. And the lower method will lowercase the entire string. So let's run this. And you can see lowercase is the entire string. In the string we have world in uppercase, but in the output you can see it changes it to lowercase. So that's the lower method, and the opposite of that method is upper. So s dot upper, and this method basically capitalizes the entire string. So let's run this, and sure enough it capitalizes the entire string. Now if you want to check if the method is in lowercase, to do that we have a method which is called as isLower. So s dot isLower. So let's remove world and let's run this. And you can see it returns true because our string is in lowercase. So let's change this and let's run this now. And sure enough it returns false because our string is in capital. And the method opposite to that is upper. So print s dot is upper. And you can see it returns true because world is in uppercase. So let's change this. And you can see it prints false because hello is in lowercase. So that is the isLower and isUpper method. These methods return boolean values, and what that means is it basically returns true or false. If the string is lower it will return true, or if the string is not lower it will return false. So the same applies to isUpper as well. And the next method we'll look at is startswith. And this method checks if your string starts with certain characters. So let's say I type HELL. So our string starts with HELL, so it should return true. So let's run this. And it returns true. Now let's change this to something else. So let's say SELL. And let's run this, and it returns false. So this is the starts with method, and the method opposite to that is ends with. And let's say if we check, the method ends with LO. So let's run this. And you can see it returns false because we forgot a space after LO, as we have a space after LO in the string as well. So let's run this now. And you can see it returns true. So all the string methods are case sensitive, meaning small s is not equal to capital S. Both of them are different. So if we change this L to capital L, it will return false. So let's run this. And you can see it returns false. So all the string methods, almost all of them are case sensitive. So keep that in mind when you're working with strings. And the next method we'll look at is count, and this method will count the number of occurrences of a character. So let's say we pass L and we have two small L's in the string. In fact, let's add world in the string. And now we have two small L's in the list and a capital L. But as I said, string methods are case sensitive. So we only have two small L's in the list, so it should return 2. So let's run this. And you can see it returns 2. And if we change it to capital L, it should print 1. So let's run this. And you can see it prints 1. So that is the count method. And the next method we'll look at is find. And this method will let you know the index or find the index of the character that you pass. So let's say I want to know the index of H. Now if you remember, in the list tutorial I said that index or position in programming languages start with 0. So H is at position 0, E at position 1 and L at position 2 and so on. So it should print 0. So let's run this. And you can see it prints 0. And if I want to check the index of D, capital D, I can just type capital D and run this code. And it returns 10. Another thing that you should keep in mind is string methods count the space as a character. So H is at position 0, E at 1, L at 2, the second L at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And you can see it prints 10 because it counted the space. So that is the find method. So another method is replace. And the replace method will replace the character with another character. So let's say I want to change L to U. So I can just type L and the second parameter will be U. So let's run this. And you can see it changed L to U, but it didn't change the capital L because, as I said, all the string methods are case sensitive. So let's look at another method, which is split. And the split method returns a list. If you just type the function without any parameters, it will split the string based on spaces and will return a list. So let's run this. And you can see it returns a list. So it splits the string based on spaces. So this is one element in the list and this is the second. And if you pass a character, so let's say W. So let's run this. And you can see it returns hello and space. And since we are splitting with W, it doesn't count W and then the remaining letters, so which are ORLD, which is one element in this list. So that is the split method. The next method we'll look at is strip. So print s.strip. And the strip method will remove all the spaces or characters from the beginning and the end of the string. So let's run this. And you can see it returns hello world without any spaces in the front or the back. And let's change this to a character. So we'll say, and inside the strip you can pass that character. So let's run this. And you can see it returns hello world without this dashes. So that is the strip method. It removes all the spaces or characters from the front and the back of the string. And these are some string methods that you might need. But there are a bunch of other string methods. You can look for them on the official documentation. But these are some commonly used methods. Now let's look at fstrings. Fstrings allow you to format a string. So let's look at an example. But first we'll clean this up. Fstrings basically allow you to format a string. So let's declare some variables. So we have these two variables. The name variable is a string and the subs variable is a number or integer. Now if I want to print something like, let's say, channel name is, and if I want to add the name, what I can do is use the plus sign and then use this again. And to use subs, I will need to use comma because subs are integer and you cannot add strings and integers. So subs and subscribers. So this is what the print statement should say. So let's full screen this. So the print statement should print channel name is, then bitcode, and I have 112 subscribers. So that is what it should print, and it will print that. But as you can see, it is a bit complicated because we have to use the plus or commas to use the variables. So instead we can use fstrings. So to use the fstrings, we can just type print, and before the single quotes we can type f and then the quotes, and we can say channel name is, and to use the variable we can use curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets we can type the variable name, and then so let's run this and the output should be the same. And you can see both of the outputs are same. It replaces the variables with the strings and the integers. So it replaced name with bitcode and 112 with subs. So this is known as fstring because you use f before creating or writing the string. And also this is a lot easier to understand and simpler, and also it looks clean. So most people prefer using this over the traditional method. So that's basically fstrings. They are really simple and convenient to use. There is some other stuff you can do with fstrings, but this is how you will mostly use them. And that concludes the tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, subscribe if you liked it, and until next time.